RenéMarie Stroke of Luck. I'm RenéMarie, and I gotta say the first show was really very powerful. I shared with everybody in the first show that April 8th was my stroke day. I don't even know how many years, 37 years. It happened in 1988 and 89. So I'm really honored to be here, but it was really important to bring back that conversation because I did have mental health back then and I didn't realize it. And thank God I had family around me. And Michael, our co-host, who is, he's been on the show many times and he's been our co-host. He's the president and founder of Believe organization, out of North Carolina, right, Michael?
Yes.
North
Yes,
Carolina.
that's right.
And he does an incredible job just bringing things to the forefront of the news. And he's shared, I'm going to let you share the story about why it came about again, Michael, why that story came about, only because before we get into the conversation with that, Ashley, I want to just go make sure that people are watch that show. And really, it's really important because it talks about someone committing suicide and not knowing that people are feeling that way, and really to be aware after you suffer a stroke. So I just want to let Michael talk about that a little bit. Then we're going to get to Ashley, who is a returning guest we met last year at our Unconditional Love concert, which we're looking for a place to do our next concert. But Ashley and I met, and she's an incredible individual, and she went on a journey last year to Arizona, and we can't wait to hear about. And I think she went by herself. You went by yourself, right?
Yes.
She was on a journey by herself. It was really good, and we're going to talk about that. But I'm going to let Michael bring to the forefront of the news. Once again, what just a brief synopsis of what our show was about, the prior one, and that people really should tune into that show to watch it because it's very empowering, very empowering. So go ahead, Michael. Thank you for coming, being a co-host again.
Well, as RenéMarie and I said, there are no coincidences in life. And I got talked into Believe hosting a luncheon for May National Stroke Awareness Month. And I ended up meeting two people that I had not met before. And the husband had aphasia. And I didn't know much about him, but the wife came up and talked to me and wanted to know if I would get more involved with her husband. And I said, sure. And then so I invited him to several of our luncheons that we all get together once or twice a month and just hang out and cut the bull, as we'd say here in the South. And I didn't recognize that he was depressed. And months went by, and he sat next to me several times and just laughed and cut up. And I got news in late August that he had taken his life. And I was just stunned. I wasn't equipped to know any better, but I was really surprised that he had done that. And his wife called me a couple of months later, and she wanted to do something in his name is Miguel Hung. His wife's name is Pamela. She wanted to do something in his memory. And she began telling me about all the problems she encountered or they encountered in receiving mental health therapy, from waiting months for an appointment to the therapist just not having the expertise to deal with a stroke survivor. And I listened to all that. I said, wow, that's really a problem. And so I've been with Believe since 2021, and met several people over the years. And I pulled together a group that researched, that knew the system and researched the system. And we found out so many things about the system, that it had so many deficits, that she was right. The amount of time you have to wait for authorization from the
Insurance.
yes, sir, ma'am, and it was scary and getting the right expertise. And who knows if the expertise exists out there for stroke survivors.
Right.
And so we put together a very nice presentation, and we ended up talking to the North Carolina um, Stroke Advisory Council. And it consists of every hospital that deals with strokes in North Carolina. And we did a presentation in May, and just happened to be Stroke Awareness Month. And it was very powerful. I was very, very surprised. I was very proud of the people, but one of our grantees is a clinical psychologist that had a stroke, and she really she had everybody in tears. She was single, 45. Um, she also dealt with suicidal thoughts. She was a clinical psychologist and knew exactly, she dealt with stroke survivors before, and she really understood and
Right.
dealt with stroke survivors afterwards. But it took her a few years to get back functioning in society correctly. And we had a pathologist that is on the bleed board that also is very aware of a lot of the problems that aphasia um, people, survivors encounter. And we also had a stroke navigator, and I don't know what they're necessarily called in New York, but down here we call them stroke navigators.
What
And
are they?
they work for the hospital, and they handle all the procedures and processes regarding strokes. And we actually have one on the bleed board.
Wow.
And so we had the stroke navigator of Duke Hospital
Oh, wow.
here in, and she also told, she was very open. She told us about all the deficits that were encountered at the hospital. And we had Pamela Hung, which was the wife of Miguel. And everybody gave a very powerful presentation. And as my wife put it, she said on the presentation, she said there wasn't a dry eye
Mm.
left in there. The president of the uh, Stroke Awareness Council said that he had been there for ever since 2006, and he had never encountered such a powerful presentation.
Wow.
So they really did a wonderful job. I gave my 2 cents with Believe, but I think understanding mental health with the stroke survivor is very difficult. I mean, one day your world is turned upside down.
Yeah.
As I put it, I wasn't suicidal, but I was definitely lost, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. Luckily, I found a purpose, but they say that somewhere around 75 to 80% of stroke survivors are depressed at one time or another, and how they deal with it, a lot of them encounter suicide. And of the 117 grants that Believe has given out, 54% of the grantees told me that one time or another they considered taking their own life. And a lot of that was interesting. I said, why? They said, I didn't want my loved ones to have to deal with all the
Yeah.
stroke. So anyway,
That's pretty, yeah, that's, that's why I wanted to just reiterate, to come back around a little bit on that so that people could be aware. And Michael is going to share that presentation with us, and we're going to upload it to our website, and we're also going to put it on a social media. So Michael, if you want to send
yes.
it to me, that'd be awesome. So Ashley also suffered a stroke in 2021, right?
2023.
With 23.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was Michael's that was 2021. So, bring us a little bit into your stroke. I mean, I know I heard your story, but tell us a little bit about your stroke and if you suffered from anything and how and your recovery like. And Mike, we were talking about on the last show is Jenny, who was the licensed psychologist,
Yes.
Mhm.
she suffered a stroke, but she was single. She didn't have anybody to
Yeah.
take care of her, where Michael had his wife. And I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
there were challenges, but we want to hear your story, like how, your recovery. So tell us a little.
Yeah. This is my cat, just so you know. He's like he's like very distracting. Stop it.
That was Whiskers.
I know. So yeah, I had my stroke November 7th, 2023. I had an arterial dissection. It kind of came out of nowhere, like out of the blue. Like I started feeling really sick. I couldn't like walk. My vision was being affected. And I'm really grateful to God that my mom was here visiting because I'm single and I live alone.
Yeah.
So I feel like it could have been different like outcome if she
Yeah.
wasn't here.
Yeah.
But like I was in the hospital, I had surgery, I had craniectomy for a month. I was in St. Clair's and then a month in Custer, West Orange for rehab. So there I was doing like physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, cognitive therapy. So I was there for a month. And then I was outpatient and then I was still doing like therapy at Kessler. And the hard thing is my insurance only covers 20 visits a year
We
per
were
like,
talking about that.
yeah, like that's not a lot. Like I think in when I was an inpatient, they didn't count it towards my 20 visits, but like this this upsets me because I'm like yeah, you can do therapy on your own, but you can blow through 20 visits. That's not even like 2 visits a month. So yeah, that's upsetting for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. And I'm glad you're upset only because you need that drive and that passion to make a difference. And
Yeah.
we are going to make a difference. I was telling Michael and Jenny and Kimberly in the first show, like,
Mhm.
I've reached out to not this president, but many years ago, I reached out to them
Yeah.
to be the ambassador for stroke, to be in on that conversation. And the other thing,
Uh-huh.
Michael gave me a great idea. To what council are you on, Michael? The
The North Carolina
stroke council, right?
Stroke Advisory Council.
Right. So we're going to reach out to the New Jersey one and start the conversation with them as well.
Yeah.
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 So we can make a difference. So we can make.
Yeah. Cause yeah, you can do it on your own. Like I was doing things on my own, but like it's better for me to like be in a group, have like a doctor there to look over things. So like I really liked being in person than doing things on my own. But so yeah, I was doing therapy. I'm still doing occupational therapy. Still doing physical therapy. So I'm like, because I'm 20 bids per the year. So I'd like want to do it when it gets warmer out, so I don't have to
Right.
worry about snow
Right.
and ice and
Right.
all that. Um, but yeah, it's hard. Like I'm going to the gym, so that's really my therapy too, my physical therapy. And that helps with like my balance and my coordination and my weakness. So yeah, my stroke affected my right side, which is my dominant side, and I'm thankful to God that like the way I healed because I'm back at work now full
Right.
time. I can walk unassisted. Um, I have movement on my right side. It's still messy and like
Yeah.
weaker, but I can write, I can type. I find myself like typing with my left hand because
Yeah.
I'm like so
Yeah.
used to like typing fast. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
And
otherwise it'll be like this. That's lethal.
Yeah.
That's
I'm like,
me.
yeah. I'm like, it's so like messy too. I'm like, oh, I get frustrated because I'm like typing. I'm trying to use my right hand. I know I should be doing that, but like it's so messy. I'm like, oh no, I clicked the wrong key, you know? But yeah, it's a lot of therapy. It's just like a work in progress. And I feel like I mean, I'm gonna take advantage of doing therapy every year now, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So did you have any aphasia when you suffered your stroke?
So I had issues with like word finding and like expressing myself and like I remember I didn't really know the impact of my stroke when it first happened, probably for like the first few months, but when I was in the hospital, I remember like saying like one or two words, like I couldn't really um have full sentences.
Right.
So but yeah, like going like the hardest part was like word finding too. Like you know the word, but you
Yep,
can't find it or think of it. I'm
yep.
like it's helpful now, like I'm better now. But even like I still have issues like finding words or like but my therapist taught me like association, my speech therapist, like associating a word so you remember it comes to you. Like names too are really hard for me to remember. And I wasn't good before my stroke, but now after my
Right,
stroke, I'm like,
right, right,
it's really
right,
difficult for me.
right.
Um, but yeah, it's just like, you know, I go really easy on myself. I'm like, I know it's an issue and like I'm not gonna be hard on myself. And if I don't remember someone's name, like and might ask again, I have to ask again, you know?
I'm horrible with that. What I've like learned tools to
Hmm.
use is, you ask them once again. I mean, even on the show,
Yeah.
right? Even on the show,
Yeah.
like I have to sometimes look down to see
Yeah.
what your name is, or
Uh-huh.
on the screen, or
Yes.
but I don't. I'm not. I mean, I try not to be hard on myself. And if I
Yeah.
don't remember something, or if I can't, I'll ask. Like,
Yeah.
it's better to just ask
Mhm.
and be honest. And
Mhm. Yeah.
what's the worst thing that can happen
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
life?
Yeah, I think they call that dysphoria. Is that the word for it, Renee
I
Marie?
don't know.
Well, I had dysphoria, what they, if I'm pronouncing that correct.
Hmm.
I was like you. I just couldn't pronounce words, or uh, I couldn't remember words.
Hmm.
I couldn't finish a sentence. I
Yeah,
couldn't
Yeah.
finish a sentence for almost 2 years.
yeah,
My wife finished most of my sentences, knowing what I was talking about.
Hmm.
But the other thing, I thought I was screaming at people, and they could barely hear me.
oh,
Yeah.
So I went through that as well. That lasted probably 9 months, but
wow,
I had lots of training through speech go
Yeah.
before I got back to normal.
wow,
Yeah.
wow. Ashley, did you suffer from any mental health issues during your, like, were you depressed at all? I was, when I
Yeah.
knowing many when I first suffered my
Hmm.
stroke, I was like Michael. I wasn't thinking about suicide, but I was
Yeah.
lost. That was a good
Yeah.
terminology, Michael, to state that we just felt lost. We didn't know
Hmm.
where we belonged. Did you suffer
Yeah.
that?
I definitely had mental health issues. So in the beginning of my stroke, I probably like I'm seeing a psychiatrist because I get medication, and I'm also seeing a therapist now.
Mm,
Um, but in the beginning, when it first happened too, like I had a really hard time with like kind of like I was so young. I was only 36 when it happened, and I was so independent. So, and I'm like kind of what's the word depending on my mom, you know,
right,
with
right,
driving and like taking care of me, and I was
right,
using the walker and I have double vision. So I had a lot of or had a hard time accepting like what I am now, what I was then, you know,
right,
um, and how it affected me. I'm like, why can't I express myself and say what I want to say, or like things that were so easy for me? I'm like, why is this so hard, you know?
right,
Um, but I definitely suffered like depression and anxiety because I was thinking too, like, am I gonna have another stroke? God forbid I have another stroke, you know? so I was really anxious, and it's definitely gotten better. I'm on medication still for depression, anxiety.
Hmm.
Um, but I suffered like even before my stroke, I had mental health issues before. And then during my stroke, they took me off all of my medication. And then afterwards, like I was off for a while, and then I went back to like a therapist and a psychiatrist, and
Right,
that's
right.
I kind of like, you kind of like are nervous too. Like after your stroke, I'm like, I don't want to put things in my body,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so it took me a few months to like actually get on medication, because I'm like, okay, let me talk to a psychiatrist first, and tell him like what's going on. And then we slowly like did medication, and there was a medication I was on before, and like it made me even feel more dizzy when I took it. So I'm like,
Right.
I don't like this medication. So she took me off. We did different medications. So it's kind of like trial and error, see what works
Yeah,
for you. And
yeah.
I did different dosages. And I was telling my psychiatrist too, I'm like I think the medication I was on, I'm like, I feel like numb. Like it's hard for me to have emotions. And she's
Right.
like, oh, that's like a side effect of like a medication. She's like, we can lower your dosage. So she
Oh,
lowered
good.
it last time. So now I feel like because I'm a very emotional person, and I like that. I like feeling my emotions.
Right.
So I definitely am feeling my emotions more now. So it's kind of like, she's like, you can either like go up more and like be more numb, or you can feel more emotions. It's kind of
And
like
what does that medicine control? What does that medicine control with you? Does it control your health, or what is it? Because
Mhm.
because you said you're on a few medicines, you said?
I'm only on one right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that medicine kind of helps your mental state, right? Is that
Yeah, definitely my anxiety, because when
your
I went,
anxiety? Okay.
yeah, when I went back to work, I was like really anxious.
Work makes
And
us
like,
anxious.
what?
Work makes us anxious.
I know. And I was like so anxious. And I'm like, I was in my head, I'm like, am I doing things right? You're overthinking things. And that's really when I was like, I'm like, okay, I can't feel this way. Like, I don't want to feel this way. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so I'm like, that's when I went on medication, because I'm like, this is not like, I shouldn't feel this way, and I shouldn't have to feel this way, you know? Um, but yeah,
We were talking about medicines at the end of the first show,
yeah.
right? Once again, this show is not about giving you medical advice.
Hmm.
We just share information. But sometimes you have to go on medicine. I mean,
Yeah.
with me, I felt exactly like you, Ashley. I didn't want
Hmm.
to put anything in my body that
Yeah.
I have to. Like, I am like so crazed about that. My
Yeah.
blood pressure started to go up. My blood pressure was 145 over 85. That's what my
Mhm.
standard blood pressure was. But then one day I went to a medi clinic because my grandchildren had strep throat, and I wanted to be checked and it was 180 over 100, my blood
Oh,
pressure.
okay.
And so I went home and I laid in bed and I said, I can't just lay here knowing that my blood pressure is like out of whack. So
Yeah.
I called my kids up and my daughter took me to the hospital, and I got admitted that night because they couldn't get it under control. And
Hmm.
from that day forward, I had to go on blood pressure medicine because
Yeah.
I had to control it. I had to control it because it was,
Yeah.
you don't take medicine and you have a stroke, or you take medicine and you control it.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it was scary, but
Yeah.
sometimes you have to go on medicine to control yourself, to
Yeah.
be able
Yeah.
to, help yourself, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah. So Michael, your two guests on the first show, Ginny and Kimberly, were so good, and they're doctors that have experience. And Kimberly actually had a brain
Tumor,
aneurysm. What did she have?
a brain tumor.
A brain tumor. So
Yes.
they both have experienced personally, what is the experience of having a situation go on with your brain. And it was really empowering to hear. And we were talking about the medicines and stuff. So it was really a powerful show. So Kimberly, so you went all by yourself
Hmm.
to Arizona.
I
Tell us about that. Like you know, you said that your mom was there when
Mhm.
you it just happened to be there when you suffered your stroke. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to Arizona by myself. What inspired that, and what, how was that trip? And Arizona is supposed to be like very spiritual.
Oh, yes,
Oh my God. So
yes.
tell us about that. Tell us about that.
So I used to travel before my stroke solo a lot. I
Okay.
love traveling. Like I don't want to have to depend on people to like see different locations. So just domestically, I used to travel
Yeah.
because I'm like, I don't know if I travel internationally by myself, but just domestically. And that was a big thing for me. So like afterwards, I've been wanting to go to Sedona even before my stroke on my bucket list. I'm like, oh, it's like a wellness trip, like the energy, like the meditation, the hiking, it looks beautiful there. So I'm like, okay, so I'm like, I feel okay, I was like nervous about like going by myself. And so I booked it. I'm just like, let me book it. So I went for a week and I flew into Phoenix and the flight was fine, and then I had to drive 2 hours, I think, by myself from Phoenix to Sedona. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, I was so nervous about like being tired. I'm like, I'm flying, then I gotta drive. So actually I did it myself. So, I'm like, I was really proud of myself. I checked in, so I'm like, okay, let me like for the first day, I'm like, it's travel day, let me relax. Cause the next day I got in, um, I have an ATV tour that I booked. So an ATV is like a quad. So I
Yep.
went there. It was like I think there was 4 people in our group and the person who like teaches you what to do, the teacher. And so you can get closer to like the mountains and stuff. So that was like I think we were on the ATV tour for like 2 hours, I think a three
Wow.
hour tour. But that was so much fun. And then the next day I did was it, yeah, 6 hour hike. I had a guided tour. Um, so I was really nervous about that because like
6 hour hike after suffering a stroke.
I
And
know, I know. I was like so nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh, can I do it? Like I'm gonna be tired. Like I'm worried about my balance and like So we had hiking sticks too, so that definitely helped me with like walking. He's like, they're like on a range of 1 to 10, how difficult do you want the hike to be? So I'm like, well, I don't want like a walking trail that easy, but I don't want it to be hard. I
right,
don't want
right,
to
right,
like.
right, right.
So I'm like, oh, 4 is good. So he took me on a hike and it was so much fun. It was beautiful. He took me to like a creek too. We had running water. We had lunch there. And I put my feet in the water. It was like so beautiful and serene. And then the next day I went on like a solo hike. So it was like in a park. So it wasn't like intense.
You
So
didn't
I'm
get
like,
lost?
no, it's like leads back to the center.
Okay.
At one point I was like, how do I get out of here? Because you kind of follow the trail. And then I'm like, okay, the trail ends. So I basically just went back the way I came because I'm like, I went kind of far. I went like an hour in. So I was like a little nervous. I'm like, I'm by myself. I'm like, okay. So I did find my way back. I'm like, okay, I kind of remember where to go. And then the last day was like a mental health day. So I had like a massage. I sat by the pool. I took it easy. But it was just and I went stargazing. So I went
Oh,
with an astronomer. He had like a telescope where you can like
oh
really
wow.
see all the stars and like there were so many. And you can see the crevices in the moon, and we saw Saturn. And then at my hotel, there's like you can walk where there's not as much light. So I walked up there at night because you can see the stars. And
Wow.
it was like so picturesque. I remember just sitting there and like I'm like taking everything in because I'm like, this looks like it should be in a magazine.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
and like calming.
Have you seen the northern lights we've been having? The,
No.
the purple northern light. That's the what's right. I mean, it used to be like in where is it?
Oh, I think is it in Iceland?
Iceland, and what's the other a country? The country with
Uh,
the in the United States. Oh my gosh, I can't.
Alaska?
Alaska.
Yeah.
To see it in Alaska, and all of a sudden here we're seeing the northern lights, like
Oh yeah.
big purple skies. It's incredible that is right outside the window. So sometimes, most of the time, most of us don't look up, right? We don't look at the beauty and how big the earth is, and what an incredible time to talk about that. The space shuttle just went up and they came. Could you imagine being on that space shuttle?
No.
I mean, the way that they landed, I watched the landing. I watched, like, when the parachutes opened up and they were like sitting in the, oh my God, I just can't. I can't even imagine being a family member of that.
Oh yeah.
Who went, because I remember the one a long time ago, that when they went up and it exploded. I mean, oh my gosh, very scary, very scary.
Yeah.
So, Michael, did you take any extraordinary trips after your stroke that really resonated with you?
Not really. I've only got on the airplane once since I had the stroke. Went to Dallas, but it was very pleasant. I flew American Airlines, and they bend over backwards for you.
Oh
So
wow.
they pick you up out there at the curb when you arrive and wheelchair you down, and everything is priority. So I was pretty impressed with the airline, to say the least. But I'll say that my trip was an A+ as far as the airlines. I was anxious and scared. I would like to go on somewhere, but I still deal with. I don't like to be a nuisance to other people. I'm going to go slower. And I just don't want to get in anybody's way.
Yeah.
But just haven't been on. I love to go back to. We used to travel to Aruba a lot, and
Aruba, I just went this past year. Oh
yeah,
my God.
it's wonderful. We've been probably 10+ times.
Oh my
I
God.
absolutely love it, but I don't know. I feel a little bit scared to go. So, I mean, if as far as driving, I've gone some places, but not really the way I used to.
Well, that's okay. You do what you feel comfortable. I mean, we spoke about your beautiful wife, who has really
And
been your support system through the
yes,
whole, the whole process. It's incredible when we have family or friends or loved ones to help us to navigate and to recover, because strokes don't only affect the person that it happened to.
yes, it does.
Your whole family and friends, and you
And
really
yes,
find out who is your support system.
yes.
So
Well, I found it interesting that Ashley is what, 38, you said?
Yeah, I'm 38.
Yeah, and it's so interesting that I never can get that word out of statistics.
statistically,
There I go. They say that 38% uh,
Oh.
of more strokes are occurring at age 40 or less.
Okay.
wow.
And of course, they say that age 60, they're going down. And they say that we're taking much better care of ourselves when we're older, but they are very concerned about the number of 20 and 30-year-olds that are having strokes. And within the Believe Foundation, we've also noticed that most of the people applying for grants are now under age 50. It's
Wow.
very uncommon that we are receiving grants older than that.
And you know what's sad about that, Michael, is, well, first of all, we don't know I mean, there's no reason why. Is there a reason why that young people?
Well, they try to say again, mental health stress, all the normal suspects we
Yeah.
hear of. I don't, I don't know.
You
It's
know, what I was gonna say was it's, from an insurance perspective, because we always go back to insurance, right? That you don't help people to stay healthy, right? The way
yes,
you were talking about, the insurances, they don't help you to stay healthy. And
Mm-hmm.
then, a young person has a stroke and it costs them more money
Mm-hmm.
because from that age forward, they have that situation that they have to deal with, you know,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's scary. It's so, it's just, it's ironic, how things work out. So I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me, you know?
And it's sad too because like I was able to go back to my job full time, but like some people are not able to go back to work
Yep.
or they
Yep.
have limitations or deficits. But like I'm lucky that way, but some people are not as lucky, you know?
it's kind of interesting when you look at the number of strokes. I mean, when you really think in North Carolina alone, um, they average about 30,000 strokes a year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, of course, it doesn't make you feel good that 40% of that 30,000 pass away, but that's still a lot of people per year that have strokes. And you know, uh, there are so many stroke survivors that, well, say, and I have always had a hard time believing it, that 80% of stroke survivors go home and they never rejoin society. So
Oh,
I
wow.
I don't know if that's true or not. I look at the number of people within Believe that we help, and it's a small fraction of the number of people in North Carolina that um, that have strokes. And even, I struggle, same thing you talked about, Ashley, with the fact that that's all the insurance is allowing is
Yeah.
20 trips. You're gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, a lot of that is the reason that the Believe Stroke Recovery Foundation exists
Mm-hmm.
because we just couldn't believe that is all that they're giving me. And,
Yeah.
I went to rehab for 2 years
Mm-hmm.
every month,
Yeah.
4 times a week. So
Yeah.
it was very costly, uh, not knowing, how you're going to pay for
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so, Michael, did you go back to work after your stroke?
it. No, I didn't. I retired. I was 58 years old. I really didn't fully recover for about 2 years.
Wow.
Today I can walk. Uh, I I can walk without a cane. I do around the neighborhood, but I still get nervous
Yeah.
whenever I'm in crowds and so forth. I look for some security and I reach out for the cane, but I don't have my right arm is not, I mean, I can move it, but I have no control over it. It's non-functioning. But it was I was fortunate that I was able to retire and
Mm.
um, so many people aren't.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a whole situation unto itself.
Oh, it is. It's a
Financially,
huge one.
yeah. I mean, what do you do financially if you can't go
Yeah.
back to work?
I know.
I mean, and what do you apply for, what's disability?
Disability. Yeah. I
Disability
don't get
money?
Medicare
much.
and disability, not Medicare, Medicaid and
Mm-hmm.
disability. That approval process, I think, is pretty dang tough.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I've
To
heard
get
yes.
up.
that.
And to be honest, it's not much money,
No,
especially
No.
at Ashley's age. And
Yeah.
people
Oh, the money's
have
so
it
crazy.
and not able to go back to work, it's pretty tough. So,
Mm-hmm.
I also view life, uh, fortunately, I was not able to do and go on trips, but I was very fortunate that I had probably experienced everything in life that I wanted to.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and so many people don't have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm honestly um thinking and trying to figure out my retirement. Um,
Yes,
because not that I don't love what I do. I love what I do. I love the people I work with. I love the lifestyle industry, the entertainment industry. I love to make people happy. But I focus so much on my life on that I don't have the time to focus on my foundation because I need to support myself to be able to
yes,
survive.
yes,
So, I mean, now I'm trying to figure out, when I can take a full retirement, and I really want to dedicate the remaining of my life for my foundation. I want to go to bed. I want to get up every morning
yes,
and fight for those, because Ashley, I and you, Michael, we can fight. We could talk. We can express ourselves. We got to
Mm-hmm.
be the voices for those that they can't hear and they
yes.
can't speak. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's really scary. So that's the phase that I'm at. I hope that I get to retire, and I hope that I have another, long life after my retirement, so that I could, because I'm just retiring from the company, the world I'm in now, but I'm not going to slow
Mm-hmm.
down. I want to be able to, sing and do my
Yeah.
unconditional love
Mm-hmm.
concert, bring that on the road, and
Mm-hmm.
make people aware and just bring people joy, and
Mm-hmm.
do presentations and go to bat with the government, and the
Mm-hmm.
insurance companies. So
Yeah.
that's where my brain is, going. So I want
Yeah.
to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna close out in a few minutes, but I wanted to give you the opportunity, Ashley and
Mm-hmm.
Michael, to really share what it is like. What would you want to tell people about, strokes? I mean, how could they live a better life? And, just give us your feedback on that.
I would say, like, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah,
And then just live in the moment,
yeah,
because like we said, like taking the beauty in the moment, like
yeah,
just sitting there and absorbing like what you're seeing instead of like being on your phone or something, taking pictures, just like take the visual in and just be like, take the beauty in. And you have to just don't be so hard on yourself. You have to, if you have to ask questions a couple times, or like for me, like I was really hard on myself with presenting. I was like really nervous about my voice, or like I was writing notes down. I'm like, what if I don't remember this, blah blah. And I'm like, I went through such a big traumatic experience in my life, and this is like nothing compared to what I've been
yes,
through.
yes, yeah.
um so yeah, just don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, that's good advice, because, I'm 63, and I finally started to learn that,
Yeah.
just it is what it is, but thank God, we are all able to
Hmm.
be at the point where we can enjoy our lives.
Hmm.
We're different, we're on new paths, new directions, but at least we're able to, live our lives, where a
Yeah.
lot of stroke survivors are unable to get out of bed. And
No, I know.
Michael, did you have a statistic on that, or was Kimberly or Jessica, Kimberly or Jenny, who had a statistic about people that are homebound, or wheelchair bound, or
I don't know that
yeah,
offhand without, I don't know if there's any stats on that or not. I agree with, Ashley, live in the moment. You know, in my case, I just try to smile each day. I
yeah,
Hmm.
view that you have a choice between being happy and being unhappy. And I always choose happy.
Mhm.
So you realize, I mean, I have a purpose, I have a foundation, I try to help people.
Yeah.
Um, it makes a big difference. It makes me smile every time we help somebody. Um, a stroke, there's no doubt that it's not easy. And I won't hesitate to tell somebody it's not easy.
Mhm.
It takes lots of hard work and diligence and um, prayer, and
Mhm.
it's a very difficult. I think you do that no matter your deficits, you're going to somewhat deal with it the rest of your life. But
Mhm.
you're alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know what you dealt with. And, I had a lady ask me several years ago, um, she said, if you could go back and not have the stroke, or if you could be where you're at now with a stroke, which one would you choose?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a point in time for people, I'm sure, but I had to really think about that for a moment. But I said, I thought about work and everything and my hectic life and
Yeah.
really not caring about people the way I necessarily should. I ended up choosing after the stroke
Yeah.
because I was a much better person.
Yeah.
So I tell any stroke survivor, be happy, smile.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why this show in my book is called Stroke of Luck, right? Because it was a stroke of luck for me to have to really stop my life, and to me to be aware that there's bigger things. There's to be kind to one another, to not, to value each moment in our lives, because life is short and we're
Yeah.
not sure when, it'll be our last day. So
Yeah.
it really stopped me in my tracks and got me on the right gear, so
Mhm.
thank you so much for joining me, both of you today. Ashley, we'll be in touch. I really
Mhm.
want to touch base with you about the advisory council. We're gonna,
Yeah.
my unconditional love concert.
Mhm.
Michael, thank you so much for bringing.
You're very, very
Oh my
welcome.
gosh, you're incredible for what you're doing in the world. So
Mhm.
thank you so much. We're going to close out, and thank you so much for joining us. I can't believe it's been almost 2 hours I've been doing this, and it just flies by when you're having a great time and you're providing information to everybody. We always blow our kisses on 3 if you feel comfortable. 1, 2, 3. Bye,
Yo
everybody.
no
Have a
sé qué tú piensas, yo no sé lo que haré, yo no sé lo que estoy perdiendo, yo no sé lo que va a pasar.